Now I want to talk about my spirit animal. This is a creature that when I come back next time, I'd like to come back as this creature. I'm pretty close to it already, to be perfectly honest. And with me to discuss this more is Monique Pool, who's the founder of the Green Heritage Fund at Suriname. Monique, good morning to you.
Yes, good evening and good morning.
Good to speak to you.
How are you? Yes.
Right, so the creature I'm talking about, of course, is the sloth. I love the sloth. And honestly, it is my spirit animal. I can't think of anything better than being a sloth. But you rescue these creatures and you help them. Why do they need rescuing? What's going on with the sloth?
Yeah, so sloths need rescuing in my country because we actually started living where they live. And so their forest is becoming smaller. And then they end up in our gardens. And I recently had a sloth rescue where there were 12 German shepherds in a yard. And this animal was like moving, but she's high up. And these animals are barking at her, but it's very scary for an animal like that. And actually, 2 days before that, I had another animal who thought it would be nice to visit some people in an elderly home. And so she was sitting in the room of one of these people. But they called me, they said, this woman is not going to sleep if you come, you have to come and take it. So,
listen, tell me, what is a sloth, right? Because I mean, I know it's its own creature, but you know, it's got the reputation for being incredibly lazy. It moves very, very slowly, it appears, from anything that I've ever seen of a sloth, and seems to cling to trees and sleep quite a lot. Oh, there's a cute one. We're showing a picture now of one who looks like he's got a rather marvellous beard. They are beautiful, aren't they? What are they? I mean, where in the sort of scale of animal are they?
So this is a special group of animals, and they are called the Xenatra. It's a super order, and they can only be found in South America. And they contain the sloths, anteaters, and armadillos. So they are in one group. And Xenatra is for strange bones, because in their bones, in the structure of their skeleton, they have extra articulations. And there's there 52 things that are similar in their skeleton, and they are in one super order. And it's a very special South American animal group. And I'm really fortunate that I live somewhere where, you know, sloths are around all the time, and anteaters as well, because anteaters are quite amazing as well.
So the sloth, it is this in this special group, and you can actually see why they're all in that group, actually. But why they're in danger? Because we're encroaching on their territory. But is it also because they, you know, who are their predators? Is it just us, or what predators do they have?
No, so we are a problem for them, and then there are jaguars, pumas, anacondas, and one really amazing predator is the harpy eagle. You know, unfortunately, we lost one of our animals because we have a sanctuary. Before we had the sanctuary, everything was in my house. All the animals were living in my house and in my garden. But it became a little bit too much, and I was lucky that I was able to buy land, and we built a sanctuary in the forest. And it's a forest near the coast, and normally we don't have harpy eagles near the coast. Here, this is what happens to them, you know, the deforestation of, so these, so this is the problem, that we deforest and then they lose their home, basically. And
these harpy eagles, are these big eagles? I mean, they'd have to be fairly big to take a sloth, wouldn't they?
Yes, they are the biggest eagle on the planet.
Wow.
Basically, their claws are amazing. They can lift 10 to 12 kilograms. So it's yeah, it's an amazing amazing bird. Yeah, and so it's a beautiful bird to see, but of course it's a predator for our sloths as well. So yeah, but it's nature, isn't it? It's nature. I
Yeah.
think it's better that the animal is taken by another animal than whether it's taken by us humans.
I agree. I would agree with that because, like you said, at least that feels like it's natural. So with the sloth, their reputation for moving very slowly. Presumably, when they had all this forest, they didn't have to. They could just hide. They didn't have to move very quickly to get out of the way of
Well,
anything.
the thing is, they move slowly. They have a very slow metabolism because what they eat is doesn't have a lot of nutrition. So it doesn't give a lot of energy. So they don't have a lot of muscles. And they really need a lot of time to digest their food, to get all the nutrients from that. So they don't move slowly. They have a lower body temperature than us. And I actually prefer to say that they are careful and cautious. You know, when a monkey moves from one tree to another, he just jumps, but the sloth just looks around and then they grab on, and then it's. But they're beautiful. You should come to Suriname to see them.
I
They're
honestly,
really
I love them. I've always loved them because I just think they've got such character. I mean, they really appear to have this incredible personality. I was watching a video the other day of a sloth that was in a tree, and there was somebody who had a baby sloth that didn't belong to the female sloth in the tree, but the female sloth just took the baby and cuddled it, and that was it. That was the end of that.
Well, actually, that's a very nice story. We recently had a sloth baby that was reported to us, so we went over there, and the mother was still in the tree. Because imagine if you're a sloth, you have to get your baby while sitting on a branch. You know, you don't have a bed. So maybe she was the animal was just born, fell to the ground because it's this really they need to learn how to hold on to their mothers. And so it fell to the ground. So my colleague, she went and she stood there making sounds like she was a baby sloth, and in the end the mother came down and took the baby again. So but it took us 2 hours before we succeeded.
And why for you the sloth? Why is that the creature? Because there must be, in Suriname, there must be other creatures that perhaps need rescuing or protecting. But for you, it's the sloth.
Yeah, so it's actually that whole animal group. So sloths, anteaters, and armadillos. We from time to time also have, for example, the Brazilian porcupine, who is not in that group. But I'm going to give you the reason why I'm working with these animals, because they're slower. The other animals, they can just fly away or they can run away. But these animals, they will actually stay in that tree until it's pushed over.
Wow.
And so they are always the last ones to stay because, they can't run. That's just not in their nature.
I mean, it was a similar story, wasn't it, with the koala bear in Australia with the fires, that they just climbed to the top of the trees. And which is why we lost so many of them, because their idea of safety was to go higher into a burning tree, which of course caught up with them.
Yes. It's for the sloth the same. It will always go higher up instead of coming down because they don't feel safe close to the ground because that's where their predators are.
Sure.
With the exception of the harpy eagle. Yeah.
And what is your favourite sort of trait of the sloth? I mean, do you see different personalities in the creatures?
Yes. I had the pleasure to live with 3 of them for 5 years.
Oh, wow.
That was, we did a very, very big sloth rescue. We saved 150 animals from 7 hectares of forest in 2012. And there were a number of babies, as you can see in this picture,
Yeah.
that stayed with me. And 3 of them, they lived with me for 5 years, and they really had very different personalities. So there was one was called Lucas. He was the boy, and there were 2 females, Anne, and the other one had a funny name, 19th of November, because she came in on the 19th of November, which was the last day of that big rescue. And 19th November was my favorite, actually. How they always say mothers shouldn't have favorite, because I consider myself a little bit mother. But she really was my favorite because she was communicating with us. When we moved to the forest, we let her go, and they started living in the trees. And she stayed very close by. And every year she would have a baby, she would come to the front, to the building, so that we could see her and her baby.
Oh.
And it was just amazing the way she was communicating with us. She even, and I'm really convinced that her baby had an eye infection, and we were running a anteater workshop for veterinary doctors. And she came with the baby. And so we took the baby, and the doctor said, no, she needs to be treated for 3 days. So we said to her, in 3 days, you can come back and we'll give you back your baby. Can you believe that she really started coming back to see if we really were going to release him? No, I'm not joking.
Wow.
Really, he is so communicative. Unfortunately, she died last year. Yeah, because she was like my friend. It was just a very special animal. Yeah.
And what sort of age do they live to?
So they can get to the age of 20 to 30, we think.
Okay.
But she was 10 years old, and what you're seeing now is this is a anteater baby. What you're seeing, they also get in trouble. They are also very special animals. I can talk for hours about sloths, anteaters, and armadillos.
The anteater has got the cutest ears. I mean, really big ears.
Huge ears, yes. And they're very funny. They have a lot of character as well.
He looks like he's tied up. Is he his paw?
No. He's just climbing in that. We have sort of a jungle gym in their enclosure. He was a baby. His mother, people here don't like opossums.
Oh.
And so somebody thought there was an opossum in the tree, and they shot it. And 2 days after that, they heard a sound, and they went to look, and they found this baby. And so for 1.5 days, that animal had been without its mother. And it was just amazing. We managed to save it. So it became an adult. Yeah.
I think I want an anteater baby in my house now. They're so cute. So you still raise money for these animals. So your donation platform, let us know what that is, will you?
Yeah, so we work with Milky Wire, and actually, if you get on the Milky Wire platform, I regularly give updates on the work we do. Whenever I go for a rescue, I make films, and people can follow and work that we do. So Milky Wire, every penny will go to helping to save sloths, anteaters, and armadillos.
I love it. I really do, and I think it's amazing work that you do, and I'm actually so jealous of the life that you live. If only I'd known there was that option. But congratulations on the work that you do, Monique. It's absolutely staggering. And if I can get out to Suriname, I'm coming, and I'm going to come and see you and your sloths.
Yes, please do. You're very welcome.
I'd
We're the
love it.
greenest country in the planet.
Listen, I would love it, especially if I get a sloth named after me. That would make my life.
Yes.
Listen, it's great to talk to you, Monique. Monique Pool, there, founder of the Green Heritage Fund Suriname. Honestly, they're even more my spirit animal now. I think they're absolutely stunning. So if you do want to donate, milkywire.com, impactors/Monique. That's where you need to go. You're with Talk TV. Let's talk in just a minute.